Hi, welcome to Juice Bar. Today we're gonna have an MJ's espresso. So the MJ's espresso is a cocktail by Aya Hoshi. She won with it a Whistle Pig competition a year or two ago. I found the combination of ingredients really interesting, and that's why I'm gonna propose it to you today. So because it's an espresso cocktail, I'm gonna start making some coffee and then I'm gonna give you a few more details on this cocktail. So as I said, the combination of ingredients sounded really interesting in this cocktail, but I had a couple of questions which were not answered by the video you can see online on Bar Times YouTube channel about this cocktail. And I was like, wait, but hold on a second. I met Aya Hoshi in person and we exchanged Instagram and she was super nice. She's the nicest bartender ever. And I was like, I might just write the question to her directly, and she was kind enough to answer. And my two questions were like, who's MJ? Why is MJ espresso? Is it Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mary Jane from the Spider-Man comics? And the answer is that MJ is one of the pigs, the eponymous whistle pigs that are on the Whistle Pig farm. And Aya was actually kind enough to send me a picture with the beautiful pig. And my second question was like, what is the cherry extract you use in this cocktail? Because it was not quite clear, like, is it like a juice or something? As it turns out, she used a really specific liqueur or the syrup from a can of griotines, which I started exploring just a couple of months ago. I made a video about all the cherries, and so I have that juice, which is basically kirsch with a bit of the juice of the cherries and sugar added to it. So our coffee is ready. Without further ado, let's start mixing this cocktail. And my version of this cocktail is gonna be a lazy version. I'm gonna mix all the ingredients together. If you go and check Aya's video, she served the cocktail like a cappuccino, dividing the cream on top from the rest of the cocktail. I'm gonna put everything together because I tried it and spoilers alert, it's pretty good anyway. So let's start with the salt. She puts a pinch of salt in the cream, and what I'm gonna do in exchange, I'm just gonna put 2 drops of saline solution. And that's gonna be enough. And then we go on with the sugars of the cocktail, which are gonna be free. Here I adjusted just slightly the amounts because I'm really a guy that doesn't like too much sugar. But anyway, we are gonna have 5 milliliters of maple syrup, 5 milliliters of syrup from griotines, and 5 milliliters of sweetened condensed milk. So this is really popular in Japan. I don't know if it's available in other countries. This is really sweet. And Japanese people really like to put this on strawberries and stuff. Then we go on with 20 milliliters of heavy cream. I'm just using this container because then I'm gonna rinse it with 40 milliliters of espresso. And my experience tells me it's better not to use your metal jigger with espresso coffee when it's hot because it's gonna burn your fingers. So 40 milliliters of espresso. And last but not least, our rye whiskey. And I'm using this Wiseman. At the beginning I was like, let's get a bottle of Whistle Pig, why not? And when I saw the price, I was like, no. And I found this Wiseman, which is actually pretty good. It's more rye-ish than a Rittenhouse. It's 50% ABV, and I think it's pretty good. So let's try it in a cocktail. Let me get some ice. And let's give this bad boy a shake. And let's double strain in a chilled coupe. In the end, let's decorate with 2 beans of coffee because, as Aya said, it reminds of the nose of MJ the pig. And there you go, an MJ's espresso, lazy version. If you want to do exactly like Aya did, just check out her video. I'm gonna link it down below. Cheers. Excellent. Everything is calculated exactly to the milliliters, like 35 milliliters of rye whiskey, 40 milliliters of espresso, and everything is so spot on, it's crazy. This is really good. All the flavor come together beautifully. Using condensed milk as a sugar, it's really creative. And combining guillotine syrup, which is cherry kirsch, with coffee also is an excellent idea. I'm not gonna tell you I can tell apart each component in the final flavor of the cocktail, but the overall complexity of the sweetness is so much more satisfying than a straightforward simple syrup. Maple syrup, sweetened milk, and the syrup of the guillotine work together to make a more complex and flavorful sugar that really benefit this drink. Rye and espresso, they go together beautifully. More cocktails should do that because it's really good. And this rye is nice. I'm liking it. So if you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, share with anybody you like and don't like. Shake yourself an espresso cocktail or a cocktail from Aya Hoshi, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers. Just one word about laziness. Laziness, which is pretty much universally considered a bad thing. It's one of the 3 virtues of the Perl programmer, according to Larry Wall, the creator of Perl. Perl is a computer language in which I used to be quite skilled. It's known to be really complicated, but the truth is, it's just as complicated as you want it to be. It appealed to me a lot because it gives you complete freedom of expression, I would say. You want to program in a functional way, you can do it. You want to program in a more data-driven way, you can do it. You want to program object-oriented, you can do it. It's extremely powerful. You had all the libraries you ever wanted, and I loved it. But again, why laziness is a good quality for a programmer? It might be seen counterintuitive, but as a programmer, the less you are willing to work, the better you're gonna be at your job, because you're gonna try to solve the problems which are tedious in a smarter way. If every time your boss comes to you and you're like, okay, do me this research, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna search here and then it's gonna take me 1 hour to do it. No, if you're a good programmer and it's a task that's asked to do many times, you just package everything in a way that with just like a minimum amount of effort, you're gonna be able to do the task they asked you to. So that the rest of the time you can play video games or something. But that makes it so that all the problems that you're gonna be challenged with, you're gonna try to solve in a smart way that requires the minimum amount of effort, and that's finally the job of a computer programmer. I met my wife because in the job I had at that time 20 years ago, I had nothing to do. I guess I was good at my job. They gave me something to do, I was doing it in 5 minutes. The rest of the time I was talking to her. Ended up in Japan.